Hugh Simmons, and I make ice. Here in our workshop we have many stages in the making of our ice, and the first is, of course, we need to check with our sensors to make sure the ice is at the proper pressure, and it is in this case. So it is ready for us to do an intermediate chipping and reducing process. Let me show you. Now if we were to take a simple tool like this and try and take our ice out, it would ruin it. So we need to use a custom designed by my grandfather Sven device. And it is very important we don't raise the temperature of the ice. People think it's just something you pull out of the freezer and put in your glass, but no, ice is meant to be savored. And at Simmons Ice, we make the finest artisanal ice that money can buy. And even if we didn't charge for the ice, it's the finest ice you could possibly buy. I'm the current president of Simmons Ice, and I'd like to show you how we make our ice and show you some of the things you may not know about ice. But let me go on, I digress. I grew up in this shop, and I watched it evolve since before I could walk. My earliest memories were of ice chips hitting me in the face as my grandfather and my father, Sven, who were from Nuuk, Greenland, would chip the ice right next to my cradle, and I'd be coated in so much ice, and you might think I was cold, but no, it actually kept me warm, because ice is in our family. It's been with us for generations. Nowadays, we put into our ice exactly what we get out of it. We choose the finest water, pure water. And you might think that it takes cold water to make ice, but actually we start with very hot water. Because the hotter the water is, the colder the ice cubes become, and the better they taste. And in fact, if you take one of our ice cubes, you can smell the coldness in the ice. Would you like to smell? Yes, I'm sure you would, but it brings me back to my childhood. Again, I digress. This ice has actually, this is a special order for one of our customers. This is our aged ice product. And this particular tray has actually been in deep storage for 17 years. And I can't really tell you how much this costs. It's very expensive, but we do have some very demanding customers. And let me pick it up very gently here. It is possible to destroy these cubes if we're not careful. And in order to work with the very old ice like this, we need to do a treatment that's, there's not really a word outside of our native tongue, our Greenland dialect. And in fact, our particular dialect is only spoken in Nuuk. And it's, the dialect is called Nuuk. And I don't really know the right translation, but in English, it's roughly called licking the edges. And so what we have to do, and this can only be done by the tongue of a native Greenlander, is to put a proper sheen on the crystal structure. We must gently touch each edge. And then we gently put it back into the very same compartment it came from. And this, in fact, will go back into deep storage for 17 more years, at which point we won't deliver it to the original customer, but typically it'll be the second generation that will get this ice product.
My name's Chester Simmons, and I work here in the, or I apprentice in the ice crafting business. I'm fourth generation underneath my father, who's been working all his life, same as I have. And it's good work here in the ice crafting business. It's hard, but I think I'm learning some really good values, and the customers love it, so just gotta keep on coming back for more.
Yes, I think it is ready. So what we'll be doing today is we'll be delicately reducing the size of this cube to take imperfections off the surface. And this cube is actually at minus 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but because I'm so trained in the use of ice and these tools, it does not bother my skin. But a normal person would have had to have been brought to the emergency room by now to deal with frostbite throughout their left arm. But I will very gently show you how we test the internal crystal structure of this. This is a very delicate process, and this will reveal whether this is a perfect cube that can be shipped to our customers or not. So all I'm going to do, now that we think the hardness is correct, is I'm just going to subtly manipulate the structure of the ice. And you may not see anything happen here. Let's see. Oh, no, that one was not very good at all. As you saw, the crystal structure was not appropriate, so we must start over. Occasionally our customers will ask us if we can work with our competitors' ice, and you've got many of them. I don't mind saying their names. There's Larson's Ice, there's Olson's Ice, and yes, their ice is okay, but it is not as good as Simmons' Ice. And sometimes our customers will ask us, I bought a tray of Larson's Ice, how come it is not as good? And I will show them. Here's an ice cube that came from Larson's Ice. And it may be hard for you to tell why this is not superior ice, but let me show you. When you put it in this device, and this may look like a nutcracker, but it's not. When you go like this, it does not pop out of the nutcracker. And that is the sign of inferior quality ice. But when you take one of our perfect cubes and you put it in, let me show you. And you put it into this device, you can tell. Did you see that? That's how slippery our ice is. And one of the secrets to great ice is it has to be slippery. Thank you very much for letting me speak with you today about ice. I'm sure you're as passionate about ice as I am.